The compounding of compromise. I betrayed my design before I even knew what it was. Let me tell you a story. I was 22, broke, and needed a job. I was about to graduate from college, and I was driving to a job interview. I was looking the part. I was wearing a mismatched suit and tie just so I could play the role. Then a song came on the radio. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. And in that moment, I knew I was on the wrong path. I knew it, and I followed it anyway. I followed it because I was in survival mode, and I thought there were no other respectable alternatives for a college graduate. That is compromise. Compromise is the decision to violate one's design, then justify it as necessity. Design is the inherent alignment of a man's body, code, and compass as expressed through his lived reality. This is who he is, not who he is programmed to be. At 22, I had no idea how reality operated. And because I could not yet recognize my own design, I was easy to recruit. The institutions I attended alienated me from my design before I ever knew what it was. They trained me to be useful to the system. Compromise feels frictionless. Usually nothing catastrophic happens. Men often think they're making a good decision. That's why they live in it so long. But a man feels the fracture before he understands it. He doesn't name it because naming it would force a verdict. And with one decision, I created the inertia that shaped the next 32 years of my life. I created my own misalignment. And once that inertia has direction, compromise continued compounding inside of me. In roles that I did not author, with expectations I did not choose, in narratives I entered mid-story, and with obligations I absorbed as if they were part of me. I entered institutions and situations that recruited my capacity and taught me to call it success. Then I adapted. Then I adapted again. Then again. This is how a man disappears without ever living his design. And over time, my life became a series of intelligent adaptations under unstable circumstances. I was maintaining misalignment with discipline. Lived proof. I know this pattern because I lived it. I served visions that belonged to other men. I accepted guidance that was so far from my design and called it duty, maturity, or necessity. I did many good things while out of alignment and felt no satisfaction in them. I fulfilled obligations. I performed well. I was praised for what I built. But good performance does not redeem misalignment. Praise does not sanctify it, and duty doesn't purify it. Standing before the mirror, I now know I was animating a life that was not fully mine. And once compromise is entered, it becomes increasingly difficult to exit. A misaligned path becomes a trap. And a man's instinct is to force his way through it. But force doesn't correct misalignment, it only deepens it. And the harder a man pushes within what is misaligned, the tighter it binds itself to him. He calls it effort, but reality calls it entrapment. The wrong vehicle on the wrong terrain leads to entrapment. A man can be strong, disciplined, and capable and still be trapped. Not because he lacks force, but because the conditions do not fit his design. He becomes competent in the wrong life. And the cost? The cost is real. It's paid in time he cannot recover. Energy spent maintaining what should never have been built. Relationships formed on false alignment or misplaced loyalty. And capacity that's diverted from his true work. And a body that carries the residue of compromise. And a life that functions, but is no longer his. He didn't just suffer it. He honored it and called it wisdom.